Farah, thank you so much for accepting our invitation.
Thank you for having me.
So you're known as Farah. What's the second name on Instagram?
Joy, aka Farah. Joy, also
How
known
did you
as
come up
Farah.
with this name?
I basically translated my name to English.
Really?
Farah Joy.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I didn't notice that. Yeah. And so I think you pretty much like your name.
Yeah,
Farah is like joy.
yeah. But I kind of prefer people calling me Joy because it sounds more me.
It sounds all, yeah. Why is it more you? Why not Farah?
Because
You've been called Farah since you were young, right? Since you were a
Yeah.
kid.
yeah, I think like me coming up with the name Joy actually like represents my personality because I'm heavily influenced by English and everything. So in a sense, it gave me an alter ego.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes you feel more like yourself.
Exactly.
So you said you're heavily influenced by English.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
I would say I'm heavily influenced by the American culture, and yeah, I grew up watching like American shows, talking English in my household, so it's been something that I'm very passionate about.
It's like an MTV type of shows, Crepes and
It was-
Catfish.
It was mostly Dr. Phil and all those
Oh
psychology.
my God, NBC4.
Yeah.
The doctors.
Basically.
What about the other shows on MTV? Did you watch them?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Catfish?
Of course. Like
Yeah.
that was my teenage years, literally.
When someone is pretending like to be someone else and then they go and find out that it's just like a huge fat man who's sitting on the couch playing video games 24/7.
I could never get the concept. Like, you don't know the person, but you want to get to know them. And then you realize it's a completely different person. And the other person is actually enjoying the fact they're playing an entire character. I'm like, why? Just why?
But sometimes they're not enjoying.
Sometimes they're not doing it. Sometimes they start
Yeah.
as okay, I'm just gonna make a fake account and do something
Yeah.
for fun. But sometimes they really fall in love,
Yeah.
and they wonder what to do about it, and they feel so embarrassed by like who they are and their
Yeah,
appearance.
I could get it, yeah.
Oh my God, that situation is very problematic.
It is very problematic because, as you said, the person is not completely accepting who they are, but they're having feelings for this person, and they would want them to actually get to know them, but you can't actually say that and accept the other person to accept you. 'Cause
But it's also very strange when people believe others without seeing them.
yeah.
That's what you used to wonder the most. Like when someone tells you, and sometimes those relationships last for years. Like
Yeah,
3
that's
years.
the thing.
I've been talking to this person 3 years and I never
Saw
saw
them.
him or saw her. And every time I suggest to video chat, they come up with an excuse.
I mean, at a certain point, you're gonna realize that it sounds fishy, and maybe it is. Like, you should probably stop doing that.
Sometimes they just want to, sometimes they have those doubts, but there is also like a picture of how the relationship they want them to be, they
Yeah.
want it to be, and they start believing it, and they want to ignore all the other doubts.
I think like that's what we call projecting. So you basically have a fantasy over the relationship.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's fantasy in reality.
Exactly. And you technically realize, like, even in your day-to-day relationships, you realize that sometimes even with your friends, you have a certain ideal of them. And when they step out of that ideal, which is actually who they are, you're kind of shocked because you build up a certain image of the person. I don't know if you...
Yeah, I do understand
Yeah.
that.
But the idea of the ideal, is it something that only comes at the beginning? I think it comes usually at the beginning of a relationship, at the beginning of a friendship.
Exactly.
But you spend a long time with the person, then you don't have that ideal anymore. I think you see them for who they are.
I think people tend to have this, as you said, the ideal at the beginning because they don't actually take the time to get to know the person and to fully understand what they're saying, fully understand their reactions, but they start interpreting what they say, what they do in their own context, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they interpret things in a way that they want that way to be reality.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a very complex thing. I think a lot of people do it in relationships. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I
That's-
think I did it.
We all do, like, to a certain... I think just being aware of it kind of helps you. Because when you're aware of the situation, you'd always question what you're doing. You'd say, like, all right, am I projecting my ideal onto this person, or are they actually that way? So I think that's a good question to ask yourself in any type of relationship.
Yeah, but being aware of it doesn't mean that you can control it. Sometimes
Of course.
you keep doing it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, maybe it also has to do with us wanting to be happy and wanting to feel positive.
Definitely. Everything in life has to do with the fact that you want to be happy.
Yeah, because when you start getting rid of those ideas and you don't want to believe in them anymore, and then it's like your fantasy goes away.
Fades away,
Yeah.
eventually.
Damn.
It got deep really fast.
Yeah. So you said that you're into psychology, and so I was
Yeah.
expecting those things. So you tell me, what are some of the things that you know, some of the mistakes, now that we talked about this first mistake, that people do in relationships at the beginning? What are some of the other mistakes that you can probably think about?
Other mistakes that people tend to do in relationships.
Yeah.
I think beside the fact that idolizing, it's basically, it all revolves around the idea of putting someone on a pedestal. It's like thinking you've met someone and your entire life is gonna magically become better by meeting this person. While in fact, this person shouldn't become your entire existence. You are a separate person, and this person is also a separate person, and when you get together, you build a relationship, and you don't become one. And I think that's something a lot of people do, is like they go into relationships with the idea that they've met the one, and they're gonna do everything together, and it's gonna be perfect, and then when reality hits, that's not the case. So yeah, I think that's one of the mistakes.
But the idea of becoming one is very attractive, is very interesting.
It's a
But-
fantasy.
yeah, it's a fantasy, but it doesn't have to be applied that way. Like
Yeah.
because I know certain people, when they are in relationships, they want to know about about what their partner is doing, like all the time. When did you
Yeah.
wake up? When are you going to sleep? What did you have for lunch? Who are you going with? Who are your friends? Who are your family members? And then at some point, when at first, I think that at first certain girls maybe enjoy it, or he cares and everything,
Yeah.
and then after some time, it starts becoming very annoying and toxic. Yeah. And then the other person starts to become like controlling, and and I think that it's a very Algerian thing. And the reason I'm saying it's a very Algerian thing is because it's very common.
Yeah, it's very common, and it is normalized in a sense. It's like, as you said, if a female goes into a relationship with someone, and that person, let's say the person actually cares, but the way he shows his affection or love is pretty much in a different way than your typical Algerian guy, she would presume that he doesn't care, that he doesn't actually love her, while in fact we all have different love languages. Like, we all experience love and affection in different ways. So yeah.
Yeah, people express affection differently. Some people are just caring, some people are... Is it... So what you're talking about, I think I watched a video once where it was talking about people who are touchy, people who are
Yeah, exactly.
good speakers, others
Yeah.
who are caring. So, yeah. Right, so it becomes, I said it becomes like very suffocating.
Yeah.
But I just wonder, we have a lot of problems when it comes to Algerian relationships, you know, and we're trying to fix them. And I think you're also trying to fix them in your stories and your posts and talking to your to the followers that you have on your Instagram account. What do you think is the solution to make more like a balance when it comes to power between partners.
Yeah, like you're talking about like the dynamic between.
Yes.
I think like trying to at least understand the concept. What is? I'm gonna sound very feminist when I say this, but I guess like trying to understand the concept. What is toxic masculinity? What is actually a relationship? Like, what are your needs? What do you want to achieve in life? What, like, being highly aware of the things that you want, especially in a dynamic. You need to know what are your needs. Like, are you looking for love? Are you looking for a life partner? Are you looking for a long-time commitment? Like, you got to answer those questions. And I think people tend to jump into relationships without knowing what they actually want. So that's why it tends to get boring at a certain point.
Yeah, but so without knowing what they really want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that what about people who are just into discovery? Okay, so I'm attracted to that person. I don't know why. You know, I just have a feeling. So let's try.
That's totally fine. Like if the other person is into discovering and taking the adventure of getting to know the person, then that's fine. Like, do you, as long as you're both on the same page. And yeah, so I think like to answer your question, like for the dynamic to actually work and to restore, let's say, power between the couples, you just gotta communicate in a sense. I know this sounds cliche, but if you can't completely elaborate on your thoughts and feelings with the person, then why would you be with them?
Yeah. To be honest, what was happening in mind about improving the dynamics and improving the relationships between couples, for example, in Algeria, because so people, when they hear the terms toxic masculinity coming from feminists, like especially guys, a lot of guys, they I don't know, they prominently, they kind of instantly associated with masculinity, as if toxic masculinity is masculinity.
That's
and it's
not
not
the
the same.
case.
Exactly. When something is in the extreme, it becomes toxic.
Exactly.
So that's what they mean by toxic masculinity. So masculinity becomes very extreme. It's like it is exaggerated.
Exactly.
So it becomes toxic, just like every other thing in life, right? So that's like totally logical. But when a lot of guys are confronted with this speech from feminists, they don't take it easily. They
become
push
defensive.
Yeah, they become defensive. So I was thinking that maybe the right education that should happen in society should come from parents.
Exactly.
You know? But parents don't talk to their kids about all these subjects. They expect that they will find out about them when they go to society.
Exactly.
And so they get married and then they repeat the same parents.
Mistakes. And actually, to elaborate on that, there's this thing called in psychology the attachment theories, and basically you have the attachment theories. The attachment theories are based on the way you were raised and the way you were attached to your parents. Meaning, while you grow up, the type of attachment you're gonna have with your partner is very similar to that. And there are 4 types of attachment. There's like the anxious attachment, the fearful avoidant, the anxious avoidant, and the healthy one. I don't remember the exact name, but it's the healthy attachment style. And each type of attachment comes with different characteristics depending on the way you were raised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people who had, usually I think that, you see people who are anti-women, okay? Those who go after women online. When they see a woman speaking online, they like to put these jokes, like to try to bring her down.
Yeah.
I saw last time one of the Algerian influencers, like who makes posts online videos on YouTube. Someone told her that you look like me without makeup.
Oh, that's kind of rude. It's extremely rude.
It's rude, but not only rude. It's very common and repetitive
Yeah,
around
common.
guys who go after girls online, and they the same type of speech. They try to make them look as if you're very manly, or you don't have feminine attitude, or
Yeah.
whatever. And that what the girl replied to him, she was like, "Oh, really? You also look like me." Like,
Savage.
yeah, exactly. And then I was just wondering, a lot of Algerian guys, they have good relationships with their moms, right? You can see it in the culture, the songs, what they write, like my mom is everything, or whatever.
Yeah.
Why do they not apply that logic and think that all those females outside
Should be treated that way.
yeah, they're also going to be moms. They're also going to have children. They also have feelings just like your mom. Your mom was a girl back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe other guys treated her in a bad
Exactly.
way.
I think first of all, to be honest, one of the reasons I tend to use English as the main language I speak in my social media is the fact that I'm not mentally prepared yet to receive those types of comments when you go mainstream. Because if you go mainstream, you're gonna probably receive those type of comments. And at the same time, I think it is for guys like this, it's very triggering to see a woman speaking her mind out. Like, it's very triggering because if you see, he's commenting on the way she looks, not on what she's actually
the
doing.
comment,
Yeah, like, if you can be objective about it, you can definitely comment anything you want. But why does the way she looks has to do with what she's doing? And to answer you, why guys don't project their love for their mothers on every
The rest of female society.
I think it's mostly it's related to the way the father treats the mother. It's not related to their love to their mothers, because obviously if they see their parents in a healthy dynamic, that's the dynamic they're gonna idolize, and that's the dynamic that they'd want to have with their partner. But if they see that the dynamic isn't healthy, regardless of it, they're gonna idolize it no matter what. They'll always have the image of the man being in a controlling position over the woman, not giving her the right to do this or to do that. So yeah, I think it's mostly about the dynamic they actually see in their lives, and not the way they love their mothers. Because a child will love their parents regardless. Like, it doesn't matter. So yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's just very fascinating, because when you think about it, for me, it's just very logical. Do you really want, because a lot of those guys, they want a partner who's very submissive, right?
Exactly.
Who just says yes to everything, follows the orders and whatever. But do you really want to be with a person like that? Someone who's submissive, someone who
Who's
Who's not mentally challenging.
Yeah, who doesn't have a
character, doesn't have a personality, that's not a partner at all. I mean, if you had a friend who's like that, you would get bored of them.
Yeah.
And so why would you want a partner like that who's submissive? No, I want someone, I mean, if I'm going to have a partner who says everything to everything I say,
Yeah.
then I'd rather stay single. I can talk to myself, and myself will agree with me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If
We're not discovering things together, if I don't come home very tired and very stressed, and I
Yeah.
have problems, and I find the right person to tell the problems to, and then they can suggest with me
Give
solution.
me feedback. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That would be amazing. That's
Yeah.
what life is.
Exactly.
But they don't see it like that. They see it in a very superficial way. That is just, it's just about telling me where you're going all the time, and telling.
yes.
To be honest, it feels like in these types of relationships, it feels like the guy is managing the woman's life. Like, literally, you're her manager.
It's like you're with a baby.
Exactly,
It's like
you're babysitting.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're gonna get mad if your baby is not gonna, Probably that's why. That's why you would call her a baby. When the rest of the word means something else,
Oh my god,
you literally mean a baby.
that's crazy.
Yeah. So, I was going to ask you because I was having this conversation with my friend about like
Yeah.
ghosts. Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there are a lot of weird things that happen out there in society, and I think that the majority of Algerians they always interpret them as ghost did this. Okay, but sometimes I just can't stop thinking that that we don't have enough data about what our minds can do and what our minds can make people do. And since Algerians don't believe, or maybe they do, but practically they don't act as if they know that our minds can also get ill. You know, they
Yeah.
also can get sick. And so if someone talks in a weird way or does something weird, it doesn't mean that it's a ghost inside him. It means that
They might need mental health.
Yeah, so-
They do suffer from mental health issues.
But there are also those stories where some people, I don't know, like jumped from the second floor and then nothing happened to them, and then, and it's just,
Where do you draw the line?
yeah, I don't know what's a mental illness and what's a supernatural thing.
Yeah.
Like, and when our brains get sick, can they do these things?
Yeah,
No.
they can.
They can?
Yeah. Because not to say that I don't believe in supernatural, because I do. I obviously do. But your brain has an enormous amount of ability to make you believe a lot of things. Like, you literally can climb a mountain if you believe in it. Like, a lot of situation can happen just because you are 100% convinced that you're capable of doing that. So, yeah, sometimes, yeah, it is supernatural. On other times, it's just your brain, in a sense, playing mind games on you.
But wait a minute, even when your physical strength...
Doesn't allow that. Honestly, it depends. It depends. I wouldn't say...
There is a movie about that. I forgot its name. Split.
Split, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Patricia and the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. That movie, I think, depicts this idea perfectly.
It does.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that happens in real life, like when someone imagines themselves to be like a hero or a superhero.
Yeah, I'm not saying like obviously if someone suffers from mental illness and they believe that they can fly, I'm not saying that they're gonna actually fly.
Not to that extreme,
Yeah.
okay? But can they do things that they usually cannot do them when they're healthy?
I mean, they could. Like, we could take the example of people. I don't really remember what's this condition called, but there's people who have been in car accidents and all of a sudden they speak a different language. Like, how does that work?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
heard about examples about something like this.
Yeah. Like, you realize that your brain internalize a lot of things. Your subconscious has a tremendous power that you don't fully know. If you can literally from day to night change and learn a new language, then why can't you do those other things? Like, that's a pretty interesting question to me.
That's right. I heard about this experiment once. I'm not sure. I didn't check if that's true or not, but I heard about it. Like a bunch of people inside a plane, and they were just doing. There were scientists just doing an experiment about how the brain works, and they told them that there is a sickness that's very fatal inside the plane, and it affects people quickly.
Yeah.
And they said like one of the symptoms is that you will have red marks on your skin.
Yeah.
There was no sickness. They did that only like to see the reaction of the people. And after a while,
It started showing.
yes, it started showing.
Placebo effect, I guess.
What
Yeah,
is
you can see that also. Yeah, the placebo effect with
the placebo effect.
with like clinical trials. For example, in clinical trials, when you're about to see if a medication works or not, you divide the two groups. You'd give a group the medication, and the other you'd give them, let's say, a fake pill. and you would tell them both that they're taking the medication, and see if the medication actually works or does it has the placebo effect. So the placebo effect is getting the results wanted without actually giving the medication. So it's your mind curing you in a sense.
Who are the type of doctors that use this method?
It's not about the type of doctors, but it is a method used in research. It's a method used in research to see if a medication actually works or not. And sometimes, let's say, it can be used in multiple ways, to be honest. Let's say you have a patient who's extremely anxious. Instead of giving them anxiety pills, you would give them another type like magnesium or something, and you would tell them that it's going to help their anxiety. And it usually does, because they believe you. The relationship with your patient, they trust you fully enough to take medication. So yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? Motivational speakers.
Yeah.
People who complain about motivational speakers,
Yeah.
they say that they want people they want things to change just just because you believe in them. And so,
Yeah.
for example, there is like this funny meme that used to turn around Facebook a lot, where for example, there is someone who's sitting, and then he's like, okay, I imagine I am a lion. No, I am a lion. You know?
Yeah.
Or no, it was I think not the person. It was donkey. They put like a donkey sitting, and then
Yeah, I can see the meme in
no,
my
I am a
head.
lion. Yeah. So that's how they discredit the speech of motivational speakers. But when you look at those research about how our brains work,
Yeah.
it is actually true. Sometimes you become what you believe.
Exactly. I think the thing, what can be triggering about motivational speakers is the fact it became like a very profitable business. That's
Yes.
why, yeah. That's why it's mostly triggering. But it doesn't discredit the idea itself. Like, it doesn't discredit the idea that what you actually believe in is what you actually are going to manifest in your life. Like, if you believe that you're eventually gonna hit 1 million views on YouTube, you're gonna do that because you're gonna elaborate on a plan to get you to that goal. But if you believe that you're not capable of that, you're not gonna do it.
Yeah.
You'll always find excuses not to.
People see that motivation doesn't matter. I mean, it actually matters. Sometimes you're productive or not productive based on your motivation. Are you gonna get up and go to the gym? Are you gonna start eating healthy food? Are you
Yeah.
gonna start doing the tasks and revising your lessons and working hard to achieve your dreams or not? All the decisions are guided by motivation. Sometimes
Yeah.
when you're not motivated, even if you have like all the discipline in the world,
Yeah.
but if you feel like there is no meaning in this, I don't want this, I don't care, whatever happens, then I think that a motivational speaker will actually help you. It's
Yeah.
okay to get a motivational speaker.
Yeah, it's totally fine, to want.
It's a human interaction.
Exactly.
Sometimes motivation it's not about the words they say. Sometimes there are some people who have a good voice. The tone of their voice just motivates you.
Exactly.
That's okay, that happens to all of us. We like different things. Different things motivate us. So it's just weird when people try to make people like that feel bad about themselves that they are following.
this, yeah. I think there's, as you said, two types of people. There are people who are extremely into the idea that, oh, I need motivation to do this and to do that. And there's other people who would say, you don't need motivation to do anything. You just got to get up and do it. But what both sides fall to understand is you actually need both. You need to be motivated on certain days, and on other days it becomes a routine. And when you feel demotivated, you got to go back and find that motivation again, the reason that got you, as you said, up in the morning to hit the gym, to eat healthy, to do what you want to do in life. So yeah, I think seeing both sides and trying to manage how to have a fulfilling life on both ends is the healthy way to do things, Ines.
Yeah, that's totally true. All right. So you do videos, you do podcasts.
Yeah.
By the way, what's the name of the podcast? Just for some of that for people.
Yeah, it's the Joy Diving podcast.
The Joy Diving
Diving
podcast.
Okay. And what's the theme of it?
It's basically like interviewing millennials and Gen Zs, like from the age of 19 to
What is it,
29.
Gen Zs?
Gen Zs,
What's
yeah.
the what? I know what the word for.
So it's basically like a different type of generation, like people born in the 2000s.
Like my brother. Okay.
Yeah, your brother is a Gen Z, and
Yeah.
you're a millennial.
All right. I've only heard about millennials, but not Gen Zs.
Yeah.
What about people of the 80s? What do they call them? You haven't figured the name for
Oh.
them yet, even though they're older?
I think that I'm not sure, but I think it's Gen Y or something like that. They're different
Okay.
names.
So Gen Y and then millennials and then Gen
Z, I
Gen Z.
think. Yeah, there's multiple names. Like it's confusing, to be honest.
I think it appears like it's like an alphabet, X, Y, Z. But between the Y and Z, there are millennials.
Exactly.
Why? Like, why millennials?
That's a very interesting question. So yeah, like the concept of the podcast is basically interviewing people and just seeing the type of issues they have, trying to normalize talking about mental health, body image issues, anything that would be not talked about in the Algerian society.
What about
basically.
body image issues?
Yeah.
What do you guys talk about that?
Body image issues is basically the idea of, well, it is a concept. It's like a mental health problem where you would want to lose weight, you're not comfortable with your body, you want to gain weight, you consider yourself too skinny, you consider yourself too fat. Yeah, it's basically what every Algerian female has to go through.
Why would you call it like a mental illness if someone is just not satisfied about their body?
There's a difference between not being satisfied
And
with
being
your
obsessed with
body and being obsessed about it and hating it. That's the concept. Like, if you hate your body, then you might suffer from body image issues. Like, no one is born hating their bodies. It's the internalized comments that you get, the oh, you're too fat, oh, you're too skinny, oh, you should look like this, oh, you should have more of this. So yeah, like you can want to lose weight and still love your body, you know, like
You know where I would draw the difference? I think
Yeah.
I would draw the difference when you're the one not satisfied about the body and you want to
Exactly.
improve. That's okay. But if you're doing it only for other people, then
Exactly. As I said, it's the internalized comments that you get. I mean, if you're comfortable in the way you look, then eventually you get comments like that, and then you want to change. Then you got to ask yourself the question: for like, why am I doing this?
you guys talk about body shaming and
Yeah, fat shaming, skinny shaming, and all that jazz.
But I think when it comes to the women world, I think it
Yeah.
also has to do a lot with social media, because
Yeah,
there are a
of
lot of actresses and celebrities who post very fake pictures, and so when you got young girls following all that stuff, they start making the comparison, and they're like, "Oh, I don't look like her, and then I have to do everything to look like her," and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I have a friend who once told me about, for example, the stomach. She said, like, I used to like feel bad that my stomach looks big.
Yeah.
When actually it's not big. The girl is skinny.
Yeah.
But she says that, but my stomach is not as flat as I see
yeah,
those
I can
celebrities.
understand, yeah.
And then I understood that the way they pose, like
Yeah,
they do
there's-
it on purpose. You know?
Exactly. And honestly, I want to say this, like going through, like entering the whole Instagram community and seeing everything what happens behind the scenes, the way people pose, the way people dress, the way people talk, you realize that everyone, I know, and I'm not even kidding when I say this, everyone suffers from a certain type of insecurity, and the exact same people that you used to admire and you used to follow because they had this perfect body are actually very insecure about that exact same body that you're trying to get. So yeah, like entering this whole Instagram community made me realize that we're actually all suffering from the same thing.
Yeah, but I think that insecurity is also boosted and encouraged by competition and comparison.
Yeah, of
Because that's what Instagram makes you do to yourself.
Exactly.
It's full of pictures, full of filters, and people, filtering, changing ourselves, taking away the parts they don't like, and putting the parts that they think other people like, and
Yeah.
and trying to portray themselves in a way that they think other people will like them.
Exactly.
And while knowing that that's not who they are, and then, for example, you or someone else sees that, and you also get the delusion that this is what
The
they
way
are.
they
So
look.
you also try to do the same, and then we end up living in this huge
Very
fantasy
distorted,
world.
yeah.
It's a very distorted. That's not what reality is.
Exactly.
I think that there has been some articles talking about that, about mental health and Instagram, and that
Yeah.
Instagram sometimes contributes to some bad emotions that people have and insecurities.
It sure does.
But you also talked about something else. You said the appearance and also the way they talk.
Yeah, the way, the appearance, the way they talk, like you realize a lot of things are filtered, and not necessarily what you're getting is 100% the person what they really are. So in psychology, there's this concept called parasocial relationships. Parasocial relationships is basically a projection. Like, let's say, for example, me, I'm a fan of someone. So I kind of project an ideal on them and like what they share on social media. And even though they might like share their entire life with their fan base, but it is still a parasocial relationship in the context. It's a one-way relationship. I feel, in a sense, that I know the person because they share so much with their fan base, but the other person doesn't actually know who you are. So you kind of become familiar with their ideas, their concepts, and everything, and you, again, project an ideal on them that might or might not be true because you technically don't know the person.
Yeah, but when you think about that person, that person that's idealized,
Yeah.
Algerian or foreigner?
It really depends. Like it can be. It doesn't matter. Like a parasocial relationship can happen with any type of celebrity, social media influencer. It can literally happen with an anime character. Literally.
That's true. I know that it can happen. I'm just trying to think through the Algerian culture because when you talk about people who change the way they talk in order to attract other people, I see it a lot with Algerians.
Yeah, of
and not
course.
only on social media, I see it outside.
Yeah.
For example, I got someone I know, the way he talks to me and the way he talks to a girl is
It's not the same thing.
Yeah. And, well, I can understand that maybe you have to be... I can understand in situations where you have to be more diplomatic, more kind, and more understanding with people you don't know, and maybe more comfortable to show who you are with the people that you know. But that's different,
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, it's a no. Like, the way you talk to guys and the way you talk to girls is different. And also, sometimes,
ideas you share.
not only the idea, sometimes it comes as showing off when they talk to girls. Last time I have a friend of mine who posted this story talking about those people who embarrass their friends
Oh yeah. Oh, I hate that.
next to people. And I was like, wow, like, does this happen in the environment of girls too? Because it happens to guys a lot.
It does.
And then she said, like, yeah, a lot. She said,
Yeah, it does. And the thing to me that I don't get is why would you feel the need to embarrass another person?
they feel superior. They feel it adds to their self-esteem.
But, like, so technically you think degrading another person would help you boost your ego, while in fact it doesn't. It just shows that you're a really trashy person.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the bad part about it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it happens. I don't
Yeah, it
know why
happens
it
a lot.
happens, but like, yeah.
And even with let's say if it's a girl or a guy, the other side, if like you're a female and you like that type of behavior, you gotta question that. Like, why would you like someone
Who's arrogant.
yeah, who's arrogant and who's might probably be abusive, might probably be a bully, because that's bullying. Like,
The way Algerians try to attract the other gender is so weird, and it's just disgusting sometimes when you see those guys
yeah,
diving in the beach, next to girl.
doing flips and
Exactly. Do you think that she would get attracted because you're diving? You're just diving. Everyone can
Just
dive.
diving.
Everyone can
Yeah.
dive, really. Or people I see it all. I saw it once on the train. On the train and the bus, when there is a girl sitting, and then there are two guys, and one of them starts hitting their friend and making
Yeah.
jokes like
and noise and being loud.
exactly noise and being loud. And I just wonder if that's attractive. Are there any girls out there who would be attracted to that?
I don't think so. I mean,
You can say I don't think so. There.
yeah, like, I'm not gonna judge people here. I'm not gonna come here and say, oh, you shouldn't be attracted to that. But to me, at least to me, what healthy attraction would be is like gradually building it up, like getting to know the person, talking with the person, like actually being attracted to the person and not what they're trying to do, or being loud. Like, being loud is not attractive.
Usually in traditional stories, women are attracted to courage and to like bravery when someone is in need, and then there is a guy who saves and whatever.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the concept of safety. It's the concept of being safe around a man. Like, I mean,
It will protect you.
yeah, I think it is a good thing, but it can manifest itself in a different way. Like, you don't have to be loud to show that you can protect or be safe.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. So among the other things that you do,
Yeah.
so you do the podcast and
Yeah.
you also talk about psychology. There is also fashion.
Sometimes I don't consider myself.
I mean, like just scrolling down in your Instagram
Yeah.
profile, it seems like you're very attracted to those type of dresses. I got my friend
Who likes every single picture.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. I think for me, the whole thing with social media and like doing the podcast, as you said, like experimenting with fashion, it's mostly to self-express. I really love colors. I love trying new things, and I don't like boxing myself in just one thing. So I really love expressing myself through different things. So yeah, I think it's just another way to self-express in a sense.
Yeah, it also helps you feel good about yourself and.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean I think that there is nothing wrong with taking good pictures and looking good.
Yeah.
Trying to look good and everything. But at the same time, you don't neglect the spiritual part.
Exactly.
You don't neglect the intellectual part.
Exactly.
So it's like. I'm taking care of myself, I'm trying to look good and everything, I'm enjoying the appearance, but at the same time, I'm also talking about psychology, I'm doing podcasts, I'm being productive,
Exactly. I think, as you said, finding a balance between wanting to both mentally and physically take care of yourself is what should be done by everyone. You don't want to box yourself in one thing, because taking care of yourself can mean different things to different people. So yeah, just finding what the definition of taking care of yourself is for you is what is important.
Yeah. All right. Farah, thank you so much for accepting the invitation.
Thank you
again.
for having me.
Do you have any last thing to say before wrapping this?
It was really an interesting conversation. I really enjoyed it, and it happened really fast. Like, I really didn't feel the time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, you want to check the Good Folks podcast, the audio-visual format on YouTube, the audio format on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Cast. There are many, many platforms. You can find them on our social media accounts. All right, that's all for today. Take care of yourself and have a good day. Bye.